Love. It's a powerful force. It can bring immense joy, but also lead us down dangerous paths. This is a story about love's dark side. Andrew Bagby was a young doctor with a bright future. He fell in love with Shirley Turner, but her love was possessive and erratic. Andrew tried to break free, but Shirley's obsession turned deadly. Her control spiraled into violence, shattering countless lives. This is the story of Andrew Bagby, a victim of love's dark side. 9. Andrew's murder sent shockwaves through his community. The legal system faltered, and Shirley, the prime suspect, remained free. She was pregnant with Andrew's child, baby Zachary. Andrew's parents, David and Kathleen, fought to protect their grandson. The system failed them again, leaving Zachary with Shirley. The consequences were devastating, forever staining their fight for justice. This is a story about a system that failed to protect those who needed it most. It's about a family shattered, left to pick up the pieces amidst unimaginable loss. 9. Born in Sunnyvale, California, Andrew Bagby was the center of his parents' world. He excelled in school and had a genuine warmth that set him apart. Summers were spent exploring the great outdoors. Andrew embraced every adventure with enthusiasm. He was a bright light, radiating warmth and positivity. 6. Andrew's compassion and intellect drew him to medicine. He attended Memorial University of Newfoundland Medical School. His humor and dedication made him a favorite among students. Andrew connected with patients on a human level, offering empathy and understanding. He believed in treating the whole person, not just the illness. 6. Andrew embraced life in Newfoundland. He joined a hiking club and volunteered at a soup kitchen. His photography captured the beauty of Newfoundland's landscapes. Friends were drawn to his zest for life and loyalty. He saw the good in everyone, believing in their inner light. 6. Shirley Turner's life was a stark contrast to Andrew's. Born in Newfoundland, her early life was shrouded in mystery. She was 11 years older than Andrew and already a mother of 3. Despite her tumultuous past, she built a successful career as a physician. She presented herself as strong and independent, but darkness lurked beneath. 6. Shirley was intelligent and charming, but also intense and unpredictable. Her relationships followed a pattern of jealousy, control, and manipulation. Friends witnessed her volatile emotions and erratic behavior. Her need for control and jealousy consumed her relationships. This pattern would repeat with devastating consequences. 6. When Shirley met Andrew, she saw a chance for a new beginning. Andrew was drawn to her intelligence and vulnerability. Warning signs emerged early in their relationship. Shirley's possessiveness cast a shadow over their romance. Andrew dismissed these red flags, believing his love could heal her. 6. Andrew and Shirley's relationship devolved into a toxic tango. Friends and family watched with concern as Andrew became withdrawn. Shirley's behavior became increasingly erratic. Andrew confided in his parents, who urged him to end things. He hesitated, hoping to salvage the situation. 6. Shirley's grip on Andrew tightened. She resorted to desperate measures to keep him in her life. Andrew walked a tightrope, trying to placate her while seeking a way out. He confided in friends, who urged him to break free. Andrew hesitated, believing he could reason with her. 6. By November 2001, Andrew had reached his breaking point. He planned to meet Shirley one last time to sever ties. On November 5th, Shirley lured Andrew to Keystone State Park. Andrew was shot 5 times at close range. His lifeless body was discovered later that day. 6. Andrew's murder sent shockwaves through his communities. Shirley Turner vanished, pointing to a horrifying possibility. Investigators pieced together a pattern of disturbing behavior. Witnesses shared accounts of Shirley's erratic behavior and threats. The evidence against her mounted, but she was nowhere to be found. 6. Shirley fled to Canada, sparking an international manhunt. Andrew's parents channeled their grief into a relentless pursuit of justice. The wheels of justice turned slowly, hampered by legal complexities. Months turned into years, and Shirley remained out of reach. She hid behind legal maneuvers, prolonging the agony of Andrew's loved ones. 6. As the legal battle dragged on, a shocking revelation added a cruel twist to the already heart-wrenching saga. Shirley Turner, the woman accused of murdering Andrew Bagby, was pregnant with his child. The news sent shockwaves through Andrew's family and friends, a cruel reminder of the life that had been taken, and the innocent life that was about to be born into the shadow of this tragedy. Andrew's parents, already grappling with unimaginable grief, were now faced with a horrifying dilemma. The child growing inside Shirley Turner was their grandchild, a living link to their beloved son. But the thought of this innocent child being raised by the woman who had allegedly taken their son's life was unbearable. They pleaded with Canadian authorities to intervene, to prevent Shirley from having custody of the child, arguing that she posed a danger to the infant. Their pleas, however, fell on deaf ears. The Canadian legal system, bound by its own rules and procedures, seemed ill-equipped to address the complexities of this extraordinary case. On July 18, 2002, Zachary Andrew Turner was born in St. John's, Newfoundland. His birth was shrouded in sorrow and dread for the Bagby family. Zachary was a reminder of their beloved Andrew, a piece of their son they yearned to hold. Yet the shadow of his mother's alleged crime loomed over his young life. David and Kathleen Bagby traveled to Newfoundland to meet their grandson. They were determined to shower him with love and affection. They hoped Zachary might heal the wounds Shirley had inflicted. However, their attempts to build a relationship were met with resistance from Shirley. Despite the charges, the Canadian legal system granted her custody. The Bagbys were allowed only supervised visits, their every interaction monitored. The Bagbys found themselves trapped in a bureaucratic nightmare, their pleas for custody of Zachary falling on deaf ears. The Canadian legal system, seemingly ill-equipped to navigate the complexities of such a case, seemed more concerned with upholding Shirley's parental rights than with ensuring the safety and well-being of a child whose father she was accused of murdering. Despite the mounting evidence against Shirley, despite the pleas from Andrew's family, despite the inherent danger of allowing a suspected murderer to raise her alleged victim's child, the courts remained unmoved. The Bagbys were relegated to the sidelines, forced to watch helplessly as their grandson grew up in the care of a woman they believed posed a grave threat to his safety. Their visits with Zachary were bittersweet, filled with stolen moments of joy and laughter, but always overshadowed by the looming threat of Shirley's presence. They cherished every hug, every giggle, every milestone, knowing that each encounter could be their last. Their love for Zachary was fierce and unwavering, fueled by the memory of their son and the desperate hope that they could somehow protect him from the darkness that surrounded him. As Zachary approached his first birthday, the Bagbys grew increasingly desperate. They had exhausted every legal avenue, spending their life savings on lawyers and court fees, but to no avail. Shirley remained free on bail, living a seemingly normal life with Zachary, while the charges against her in Andrew's murder remained unresolved. On August 18, 2003, the unthinkable happened. Shirley Turner, in a final act of unimaginable cruelty, took her own life and that of her 13-month-old son, Zachary. She drugged him, drove to a coastal park near her home in Conception Bay, South Newfoundland, and walked with him into the frigid waters of the Atlantic Ocean. Their bodies were found the next day, locked in a final tragic embrace. The news of Zachary's death sent shockwaves of grief and outrage across Canada and the United States. The Bagbys were utterly devastated, their worst fears realized in the most horrific way imaginable. Their fight to save their grandson had failed, and now they were left with nothing but the unbearable pain of losing both their son and their only grandchild. The news of Zachary's death struck the hearts of those who knew and loved Andrew like a physical blow. The grief that washed over David and Kathleen Bagby was all-consuming. They had lost their son, their only child, to a senseless act of violence. Now, their grandson, the last living link to Andrew, was gone too. The world offered its condolences, expressing shock and outrage. How do you begin to heal when a part of your heart has been ripped away? But something inside them refused to be broken. They would honor Andrew and Zachary's memories by fighting for change. Their grief would become their driving force. The Bagbys embarked on a tireless crusade to reform the Canadian justice system, specifically targeting its bail laws and custody provisions. They believed, with unwavering conviction, that Shirley Turner should never have been granted bail, that her history of erratic behavior and the serious nature of the charges against her posed a clear and present danger to her son. They were determined to prevent history from repeating itself. Their journey was long and arduous, fraught with legal complexities and bureaucratic roadblocks. They faced opposition from those resistant to change, those who argued that the system was not at fault, that Shirley Turner's actions were those of an isolated individual, but the Bagbys refused to be silenced. They shared their story with anyone who would listen, their voices growing stronger with each retelling. Their unwavering dedication began to resonate. The media took notice, shining a spotlight on the flaws in a system that had failed Andrew and Zachary so tragically. Public support for the Bagbys grew, fueled by a collective sense of outrage and a desire for justice. Finally, after years of tireless advocacy, their efforts culminated in the passage of Bill C-464, better known as Zachary's Law, in 2007. While the Bagbys fought for systemic change, a parallel story of love, loss, and remembrance was unfolding. Andrew's close friend, filmmaker Kurt Kuehn, had been deeply affected by the tragedy. Wanting to preserve Andrew's memory and create a lasting tribute to the man he was, Kuehn began work on a documentary. The film, titled Dear Zachary, A Letter to a Son About His Father, was initially intended as a personal message to Zachary, a way for him to know his father through the eyes of those who loved him. Kuehn interviewed Andrew's family and friends, weaving together a tapestry of memories, anecdotes, and heartfelt testimonials that painted a vivid portrait of a life cut tragically short. As Kuehn delved deeper into the story, the film evolved into something much more than a personal tribute. It became a powerful indictment of the failings of the Canadian justice system, a heart-wrenching expose of the loopholes and oversights that allowed Shirley Turner to remain free and ultimately take her son's life. Dear Zachary premiered at the Slamdance Film Festival in 2008, garnering critical acclaim and numerous awards. But more importantly, it touched countless lives, becoming a catalyst for conversation about domestic violence, legal reform, and the enduring power of love and memory.